We will now take a more in-depth look at some of the common reports on Google Analytics: audience reports, acquisition reports, and behavior reports. We'll first look at audience reports, which offer information about the users visiting your site. This can include what countries they're in, what languages they speak, and the technology they use to access your site. But it can also include data like age and gender, their engagement and loyalty, and even some of their interests. Let's start with the active users report. This shows you how many users had at least one session on your site in the last day, 7 days, 14 days, or 28 days. This is called site reach or stickiness. If your marketing activities and site content encourage users to visit and return to your site, the active users in each time frame should grow. Next, let's look at the demographics and interests reports. The demographics reports provide information about the age and gender of your users. The interest reports show your users' preferences for certain types of web content, like technology, music, travel, or TV. This information is useful in 2 ways. First, if you know your target audience, it can help verify that you're reaching the right people. Second, it can help guide decisions about your marketing and content strategy. The location report under Geo is one of the most useful audience reports. Google Analytics can anonymously determine a user's continent, subcontinent, country, and city through IP address used by their browser. Notice the geographic heat map at the top of your report, which you can adjust to display different metrics. For example, switching the map to show % of new visits lets you identify potential new markets based on new user traffic to your website. This can help you decide whether to build awareness or invest in customer loyalty in particular locations. Below Geo are a set of behavior reports that help you understand how often users visit and return to your website. The new versus returning report breaks out acquisition, behavior, and conversion goal metrics for new and returning users. You can look at this comparison over time to see how audience loyalty may be shifting. Underneath behavior reports, the technology and mobile reports can help you understand what technologies your audience uses to consume your site content. These reports can help you fine-tune your site to make sure it's fully functional on different devices and browsers. For example, you can use the browser and OS report to quickly identify issues with certain browsers on your site. If your site has a comparatively high bounce rate on a mobile browser, you may need to create a mobile-optimized version of your website with streamlined content and simpler navigation. The devices report lets you see additional details about the devices used to browse your site. This includes the mobile device name, brand, service provider, input selector, operating system, and other dimensions like screen resolution. These reports can give your developers and designers direction on how to create a mobile-optimized experience to best suit your users. Now, we will look at acquisition reports, which can provide insight about how users get to your website and how well your digital marketing and advertising works across different channels like email, search, and display ads. Let's get the source medium report under all traffic. This shows the sources and their respective mediums sending referrals, search engine traffic, and direct traffic to the site. Before I go more in depth, it can be helpful to know how Google Analytics identifies traffic sources for your website. When a user lands on your site, the Google Analytics tracking code automatically captures several attributes or dimensions about where the user came from. This includes the traffic medium, source, and marketing campaign name. You can think of the medium as the mechanism that delivered users to your site. Some common examples of mediums are organic, which is used to identify traffic that arrived on your site through unpaid search, like a non-paid Google search result. CPC, which indicates traffic that arrived through a paid search campaign, like Google Ads. Referral, which is used for traffic that arrived on your site after the user clicked on a website other than a search engine. Email, which represents traffic that came from an email marketing campaign. And none, which is applied for users that come directly to your site by typing your URL directly into a browser. The source provides more information about the medium. For example, if the medium is referral, then the source will be the URL of the website that referred the user to the site. If the medium is organic, then the source will be the name of the search engine, such as Google. To identify effective traffic sources, we can look at the source-medium combinations with the most users. But that doesn't necessarily mean this was the best traffic. Ideally, traffic should be high quality, meaning that users who arrive from a source engage with the website or complete a conversion. A good indicator of traffic quality can be bounce rate. We can click into the comparison view and select the metric bounce rate to compare bounce rate for each source-medium combination to the site average. We can see that our YouTube traffic is bouncing at a much higher rate than the site average. The Google Store may want to investigate to make sure that YouTube traffic is landing on a page that's valuable to those users. There are other ways to view which traffic sources bring the most engaged users to the site. Using the channels report, we could view traffic by channel, which bundles the sources together under each medium. Traffic sources are automatically grouped into basic categories or channels, like organic, social, direct, referral, display, etc. Clicking into each channel will break out the individual sources for that channel. If you want to view your traffic organized by which sites have linked to yours, you can look at the referrals report. You can even click into individual referrals to see which specific web pages link back to your site. Lastly, we'll take a look at behavior reports, which show how users interact with your website, including what content users view and how users navigate between pages. Let's begin by looking at the All Pages report, located under Site Content. The page views metric shows how frequently each page on your site was viewed. By default, this report will show data by the page URI, which is a part of the URL after the domain name in the location bar of the browser. If you switch the primary dimension of the report to page title, you can view this report by the title listed in the web page's HTML. Other metrics in the All Pages report, like average time on page and bounce rate, indicate how engaged users were on each page of your site. The Content Drill Down report under Site Content groups pages according to your website's directory structure. You can click on a directory to see the pages of your site within that directory. This is especially useful if you're trying to understand the performance of content in a particular section of your website. If you switch to the pie chart view, you can quickly see which sections of your sites are most popular with your users. The Landing Pages report lists the pages of your website where users first arrived. These are the first pages viewed in a session. You can use this report to monitor the number of bounces and the bounce rate for each landing page. A high bounce rate usually indicates that the landing page content is not relevant or engaging for those users. Lastly, the Exit Pages report shows the pages where users left your site. Because you don't want users exiting from important pages like a shopping cart checkout, it's a good idea to periodically review this report to minimize unwanted exits. Now that you understand how to analyze reports, The next and final video will show you how to use goals to measure your business objectives.